Welcome back. We've got Charles Rourke, and we promised a Star News update on the movie The Interview. What can you tell us now, Charles?
Man, it's the best news of the holiday season. We can get to see The Interview. There were days, people that love movies were very distraught about the fact that the concept that North Korea might be running Hollywood now, or telling them what they can show and what they can't show. Well, Sony has come forth, and what's so interesting about it is they're really depending on the independent theaters that wanted to show it anyway to pull through. And this thing is gaining momentum, and it could end up being one of the biggest movies ever. Yeah. Because it's such a groundswell support, and we're hoping, we're going to be open Christmas Day, and and I'm thinking about, like, rather than, I might take my stocking cap off and put on like a flag or something, because it is kind of a patriotic thing that we're showing this movie, and we're pleased about it, we're happy about it, and Kim Jong-un, is that right? Yes. What a crazy name. Yeah. I mean, what a man made for comedy. That he's not going to get his way. And the funny part is, you announced yesterday that there's another group out there that's saying if Sony doesn't show it, they're going to get hacked.
Right. And that is true. Now, it's a group called Anonymous. Now, Anonymous suggested that based on the Freedom of Information Act, they were requesting copies of The Interview be given out to them and to other groups who were requesting the copy. Now, we do want to say that we began to discuss this yesterday, that first Sony was hacked and threatened by a group called, I think it was Guardians.
Guardians of Peace.
Guardians of Peace. Now, they are the reason Sony didn't initially release The Interview. Now Sony has been threatened by a group, Anonymous. The Anonymous group says, listen, we'll hack you and get all the rest of the material that you don't want us to see if you don't release the movie.
And so, the lesson here is this is why you don't cave to these people, because they're crazy.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing we've seen for sure is that all these groups are crazy, and you can't have folks on the internet run your life. I mean, yes, we get into planes, we get into all kind of things that might be dangerous, but still, we keep going our way, and we're going to be open. The first showing is going to be at 3 o'clock, 3, 5, 7, and 9, and then on the weekend 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9:15, 5 showings of it. And we're actually putting it into a second theater in case it becomes such a groundswell that we'll be able to seat everybody. So we kind of want everybody that wants to come.
I think it's going to be a big Christmas night event for people to come out. And I do want to say this, Charles, what we began to talk about was the fact that the decision that the Sony had made was becoming reflective of sort of an American and national willingness to negotiate with terrorists. Somehow it became reflective of the White House and the administration. And I think that when they realized that their decision could become an international concern and issue, they needed to change their thinking and go ahead and show this movie. And again, I think it shows the strength of the American mindset that we are not willing to negotiate, and that we are that sort of superpower that's not going to cave over something like North Korea or any threats that may be perpetuated from that country.
Well, I think this is a victory for independent theaters too. For years, people thought the chains, the AMCs, the Regals, and all these big guys run everything. We kind of like the fact they don't want to show it, but we want to show it. And this will be a real test to see what independents can do. If it could get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what'll be funny is that the bigger theaters will probably end up wanting to run it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do they still have an option to do so?
Well, sure they do. But it doesn't look like they're going to get the first run.
And they're not going to get it in time, right? It won't be at this point. We know we're getting it just in time for Christmas Day.
We actually, we're going to have cameras as it's coming in tomorrow. We'll record it coming into the station, because it's so historic. Yeah. I mean, that this film is finally getting to be able to be seen. We can't show it until Christmas Day, but at 3 o'clock will be our first showing, and we hope we fill up every seat.
And we do know that we do have security measures in place, so everyone will be safe here at Hollywood Cinema. Additional security measures in place, and am I right about it? Not because we're concerned, but because we want to ensure everyone's safety, so no one has to worry about their safety when they come up here. Right. Am I right about it?
Yeah. And one of the things, we'll come back to the studio if we can, is it's been proven that First Amendment overshadows liability. In other words, because if somebody blows up a theater for First Amendment rights, obviously, people will probably still sue, but it's been tested legally before that theater can't be responsible because somebody wants to blow up something because people want to go see a movie.
Right. So there was no reason for those larger theaters then to pull out, in my opinion.
Well, we live in this world of fear. and we got to get rid of that. We got to get past it.
All right.
We're going to die of something. That's one thing I've learned. I mean, as the older you get, you figure that out. Then you see people flopping all sides of you. People, you're going to die of something. But at least to die and enjoy what you want to do.
Well, I don't think it's going to be watching the interview at Hollywood Cinema. So it's going to be fun seeing how you have folks kind of, as they bring that movie in, I know you're going to have several folks out in the lobby that work for the station out there, cheering them on and watching to make sure it's brought in safely to the building. Thanks so much, Charles.
I'm thinking, I usually don't do news on Christmas Day, but we're going to be doing some news on Christmas Day. I just sense it because it's going to be like a celebration party. We'll show the movie being put into the projector.
Pretty exciting.
And of course, we have a new sponsor for our Christmas party, and that's going to be the interview.
All right, good enough. Hey, listen.
Tell everybody. I know people don't like us all the time. People don't always like everything we do, but I do think most people in this country can agree on showing this movie.
All right. Well, I know our viewers will be excited about it, and tell a friend. We will have the movie The Interview here Christmas Day, 3, 5, 7, and 9 at Hollywood Cinema. Thanks so much, Charles Rourke. A victory for Hollywood Cinema and other independent theaters across the nation. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.